There's been a whole lot of drama in the sport of boxing in the last 24 hours. But let me make myself clear. Y'all already know y'all tuning into Punch Drunk Boxing. I'm giving Terence Crawford the benefit of the doubt. I'm siding with Terence Crawford in reference to his situation with the WBC, in which he got stripped because of unpaid sanctioning fee, in which the WBC president stated that he owed $300,000 from the Canelo Alvarez fight, and he also hasn't paid his sanctioning fees for the Madrimov fight. So he hasn't paid sanctioning fees for 2 fights. Now, I'm siding with Terence Crawford not because I believe that he's right? It's because I've got tired of the WBC shenanigans. Okay? I'm not saying that Terence Crawford is right for not paying, because in the nature of business, the morals, the principle when you do business is that fighters understand if you are challenging for a belt or you're defending your belt, that there's sanctioning fees. In whichever belt federation that you campaigning in, or campaigning for, out of the 4 major sanctioning bodies, there is sanctioning fees, right? And Terence Crawford has been a champion for a very long time, so he has been paying his sanctioning fees. Yet, the reason why I think that I'm giving Terence Crawford the benefit of the doubt, and others are, is because we're just tired of the WBC not following their own rules. We're tired of the WBC when they created the WBC franchise. We're tired of the WBC when they don't mandate fights like the David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez, which should have been mandated, right? We just see that the WBC and then the ranking system. Oh my God, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a Manny Pacquiao fan, but after 2.5 years, you rank him in number 5. After losing it to Ugas, what else? Ranking Keith Thurman in the 154-pound division. You know what I'm saying? After his long layoff, and I'm a fan of Keith Thurman as well. I think those are the things that truly has frustrated the world of boxing. Not following their own rules, don't even know what they've been doing. You know what I'm saying? And I think, and there's more to add to that, but I think y'all got the drift. So I'm siding with Terence Crawford, not because I believe that he's right, but because I'm just tired of the WBC shenanigans, and that's what it is. Terence Crawford is a great champion. And I do think that he's getting influenced. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I'm just assuming he's getting influenced by, I believe, by Dana White, Turkey Al Sheikh, Khan, that's in business with Dana White. They have made it clear that they don't like the belt federations and things of that nature. We know that Turkey Al Sheikh been trying to move into, just people respecting the Ring magazine. We saw what happened in the face-off with him and Canelo Alvarez. I believe it was in New York City, in which he pushed off the WBC out the stage, basically, to Canelo Alvarez. Now, don't put that WBC on stage. We just put the ring and the TKO belt. And I've been telling the people, you know what I'm saying? Yes, Turkey Al Sheikh has been very good. A fan-friendly entity in the sport of boxing, in which he's creating a lot of fights, a lot of events, and stack cards and things of that nature. But I think that, Turkey Al Sheikh was not only trying to clean up in terms of making great fights, but clean up the sanctioning bodies and strategically, in my opinion, trying to get these promoters together and then put them in their pocket, and then he takes over, and then almost like cripple their business model. That's what I think. You know what I'm saying? Take over and then cripple the business model. In which I think there's a lot of fans out there that is tired with the business model in the sport of boxing, which promoters not working together. And Turkey Al Sheikh is like a symbol of cleaning a lot of things up and adding something new or fresh, or bring it back to the retro days and things of that nature, right? Try to build something more modern than tradition, or the tradition of when fans was good, and then bringing some modern, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's good, the tradition of the past of everybody fighting the best, but then let's have just one belt. And I think there's a large community of boxing fans that will want that is okay with that. That they're tired of these of the business model of today in the sport of boxing. And I think that Terence Crawford is one of the most respectable fighters out there in the sport of boxing, one of the most accomplished fighters, had one of the biggest win in the history of the sport of boxing, top 10, and beating Canelo Alvarez when he moved up to the 168-pound division. I think this is why. People are okay with Terence Crawford being the guy to set the tone to not pay for sanctioning fees and teaching the WBC a lesson. What it does for the future of younger fighters. Like Terence Crawford did say that, you know, it's just a trophy. Basically, the Ring magazine, that green belt was not better than anybody. It's just the belt. Who cares about them? That the Ring is the real belt. The other ones is not. So what does he think about Shakur Stevenson, his boy that's going to be going up against Teofimo Lopez January 31st? Teofimo Lopez is the Ring. So does he consider Shakur Stevenson way less of a champion, or not even a champion because he got the WBC belt? You know what I'm saying? End of the day, there has been one thing I do also have an issue is why does fighters in the twilight of their career, or when their career is done, that's when they want to come out and bash the belt, the four sanctioning bodies, or the WBC. We've seen it with Floyd Mayweather, which he was downplaying the belts. Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins have downplayed the belts, and I remember they was calling it Bernard Hopkins said Gervonta Davis is the pound for pound number one. A lot of people been mad at Gervonta Davis for not going for the belts, but then when Bud Crawford saying that these belts ain't shit, then why everybody be mad at Gervonta Davis? You know what I'm saying? And the way he feels about belts and not caring about belts. You know, I see in this community in the world of boxing that a lot of people contradict themselves. But the belts matter, yet depending on who gives credits to the belts. You know what I'm saying? Being a champion matters, but depending on who's holding the belts or whatever, right? Mike Tyson, remember he said the belts don't matter, he threw them in the garbage, you know, but when they was all fighting, the belts was everything. You know, the belts was everything when they was fighting, right? And you know, Terence Crawford said a couple of things where it's still contradict himself, and he shouldn't shoot himself on the foot. Even though that, again, I'm siding with Bud Crawford, but understand that morally, the way that he did business is kind of, you know what, man, if we know that there's supposed to be some percentage, and there was some agreements before the fight, you know, you want to get paid. It is what it is. You got to pay to be a champion. That's the nature of the sport. You know, you got to pay to be a champion, got to pay to stay a champion. The more money you make, the more sanctioning fee, the percentage you're going to have to pay. Canelo Alvarez had to go through it, and every other cash cow in the sport of boxing had to go through it. Maybe Terence Crawford is new in that class of fighters getting $50 million or more, that he's seen these fees like, I pay sanctioning fee, but I never seen these extra zeros. Well, now you know how it is to be a Canelo Alvarez and the Oscar De La Hoyas and the Mike Tysons and the Manny Pacquiaos of the world. Now you understand. Maybe Bud Crawford is new to it. Again, he's seen some new zeros he never seen before. And like, whoa. And let's also be real. A lot of these fighters have always given the WBC more of a credit, more of a prestige in comparison to the other to the other major sanctioning bodies. A lot of fighters, past and present, always say that the green belt is actually more important out of the four sanctioning bodies. Yet the Ring magazine has always been the most prestige. The Jack Dempsey belt, the longest, the oldest belt, and the most respectable belt there is. And I always felt like that. Hopefully that Terence Crawford does chop it up with the WBC president, Mauricio Sudamon, and it could work out. You know, because they are respectable entities. WBC does great things outside of the sport of boxing, outside of the rims of the sport of boxing, like autism, the Autism Foundation that they work with, and that's good because my son is autistic, so I love what they do outside of the sport of boxing in terms of autistic and things of that nature. They do help out former fighters with health and with their medical and things of that nature and other things around the world. But Terence Crawford could also expose the business of boxing, the business, like, you know, like, if people could check the books, like, where is the money truly going? We really don't know exactly where it's going. We going off the mouth. I know certain things that they do good, but, you know, for the most part, with all the sanctioning fees that they get, I don't think that they have shown enough of what they do with those fees. Again, man, I'm trying to be but I'm being as honest as it is. Again, I'm siding with Terence Crawford because I think it's time for somebody to check the WBC with their shenanigans, and I'm tired of their shenanigans. Even though that I believe that there's some great peoples in the WBC, like Mauricio Sulaiman, Chico Lopez. I know a couple of people that work and with the WBC. They have them, and they're great people, but. You know what I'm saying? There is certain things I think they need to tighten up, and I think this Bud Crawford situation is going to tighten them up, in my opinion. But I don't agree that Terence Crawford shouldn't, that he didn't pay, because, you know, when you do a business arrangement, you know, there's certain, you got to pay the fee, man. You gotta pay the fee. You could negotiate the fee. And look, it's not like he was paying the 3%. He would have been paying $1.5 million. So I don't agree how Terence Crawford went by it like that, because in the end of the day, even though that I myself always preach that the Lineal Ring Magazine is the most prestigious belt, you cannot get the Ring Magazine and you cannot become a lineal without at least earning and winning these belts from the 4 sanctioning bodies, right? You can't be a lineal if you didn't become a world champion. You understand what I'm trying to say? I don't think there's been a lineal in the modern day era of the sport of boxing that has won that is a lineal fighter without without beating a world world champion. So at the end of the day, you don't want Terence Crawford to contradict himself and saying that they don't matter, WBC don't matter, just a trophy. No, you needed to win them to get in the position to become a lineal champion and a ring champion, right? It's just like when Tio fought Vasily Lomachenko, right? The winner gets they become a lineal. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Jose Ramirez and Josh Taylor when they fought, right? The best fighting the best. Same thing with Terence Crawford versus Earl the True Spence, right? You need to fight Earl Spence, and Earl Spence need to have those type of accolades for you to get an opportunity to become a lineal champion and capture the Ring Magazine. So everything works together, whether people like to admit it or not. Being a world champion bring more prestigious in being a lineal champion, put it that way. So let me know what y'all think, man. I know there's gonna be people that agree or disagree, but I'm breaking it down unbiasedly, logically, and objectively. Let me know what y'all think, man. This is Punch Raw Boxing. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like button.